Some people were curious about the Saw comic book, so let's get into it. This is an easy one. So from what I could tell, Saw has only appeared in one comic book thus far from IDW in 2005 called Saw Rebirth. Let's get into it. Saw Rebirth is essentially a single issue prequel to the entire Saw film franchise. It does have some moments in it that we've seen in brief flashbacks throughout the franchise, however, it dives more deeply into those moments. The book starts off with John Kramer working at a toy factory, living quite a dull life. His lack of ambition and commitment causes his girlfriend, Jill Tuck, to leave him. Years go by and John doesn't change his ways until he gets sick. His hospital doctor, Dr. Gordon from the film series, tells him the recovery chances are low. Now depressed about his life and his impending death, John walks around the hospital and meets numerous patients and employees, including the disgruntled Zepp Hindle, who badmouths the docs and their dishonesty and lack of empathy. John also takes note of a scam artist along with Amanda Young, a young heroin addict who was brought into the hospital after overdosing. Finally, John sees a toy store co-worker, Paul, who is there because he tried to kill himself in spite of having a wife and kids. As John's depression gets worse, he tries to kill himself by driving his car off of a cliff, but he survives, if heavily injured. As he climbs out of the wreckage, John realizes how precious life is, and this is what he considers his rebirth. After the accident, John decides to spend the rest of his time alive testing other people's will to live, hoping that it will convince them to value their lives and what they already have. He decides to start with the people he encountered at the hospital, and this is only the beginning. So that's it, just one issue telling that prequel story that the film franchise didn't get to dive quite as far into. I think it's worth having in your collection if you're a fan of the Saw franchise, so if you don't have it yet, definitely get your hands on Saw Rebirth.